Well, hello and welcome. I'm glad that you're with us as we continue our chronological read through of the Bible. Today we complete the narrative portion of Daniel. Now, if you recall, we ended our last reading with the exit of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego from the fiery furnace, completely unharmed. Today we read of King Nebuchadnezzar's praise and acknowledgement of Yahweh as God. Nebuchadnezzar has a second dream now after this, which again only Daniel can interpret. In the hubris of the success that God has granted Babylon under Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar becomes proud. He glorifies himself rather than God. This dream is a warning that God will humble him until he once again acknowledges that God, Yahweh, is sovereign. Well, within a year, the dream becomes reality, and Nebuchadnezzar is driven from the kingdom and lives as an animal in the wild until he once again acknowledges God as ruler over all. It's interesting that this portion of the narrative is written in the first person as though Nebuchadnezzar himself is telling this account. After that account is completed, we next hear about a great banquet that's being thrown by Belshazzar. Belshazzar is Nebuchadnezzar's son. Belshazzar succeeds Nebuchadnezzar as king. And in spite of knowing how God humbled his father Nebuchadnezzar for his pride, Belshazzar becomes even more prideful. He actually takes the sacred vessels that were at the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem and he uses them to drink from in his grand party. A hand writes on the wall, and only Daniel can interpret it. The message that it delivers is, well, it's not good for the king. The message says that the king has been measured. He's been found wanting. His life will end and his kingdom will be split between the Medes and the Persians. And that very night, that's exactly what happens. Our final account today takes place when Darius the Mede is king. Daniel is greatly honored by Darius and his peers, and his peers are, well, they're very jealous of that. So much so that they decide that they have to get rid of Daniel. And they trick Darius into signing a law which cannot be changed once it's made, that only he, Darius, can be prayed to or worshiped for an entire month. Well, Daniel, of course, continues to pray to Yahweh as usual, and he's brought before King Darius, who's greatly distressed by this. But the law is the law. So into the lion's den Daniel goes. After a sleepless night, King Darius checks on Daniel in the morning, and the lions haven't devoured him or even touched him. He releases Daniel from the lion's den and immediately throws those who framed Daniel into it in his place, along with their families. They're devoured before their bodies even reach the ground. Darius acknowledges that God is Lord over all, and he writes to all the peoples in his kingdom that they are to fear Yahweh, the God of Daniel. Daniel prospers during the reign of Darius the Mede and also during the reign of Cyrus the Persian after him. May God be with you, bless you. As always, I pray that our time together is helpful as we take our journey through the scripture. I look forward to gathering with you again the next time.